Oh, a new listener. Come for a story, I hope. Let's see. What tale shall I read tonight? Here's one. This is a tale of 6 adventurers that, while not always fighting for the purest of intentions, still fought for what they hold dear. Whether that be to save another, riches, or just to spend another day in a tavern. Now, while these adventurers found themselves working together, I still don't think they knew quite what they were getting themselves into. Nevertheless, I welcome you to join me on this tale, to join me in the myth of Draconis.
There we go. So, welcome everyone on people's various streams and my recording to the continuation of our second D&D campaign. First on my YouTube channel, because I couldn't keep up with the last ones. I'm home more now. Last we left off, you all had been asked to find a sage named Mr. Brydove, who you needed the assistance of to lift a curse on a town, causing a bunch of issues with crops and not growing and animals getting sick, things of that nature. Basically bad times for a farming town. Oh yes, and there was also that whole, your airship was knocked out of the sky by a red dragon. And one of you tried to jump for some ungodly reason. We're not sure why that happened. Whyever it was, it did happen. And you were recovered by a familiar to most of the players behind the character's face. And actually to all the characters, because you started in the city where this person's most famous. A now more priestly Leonide's Hairfoot helped heal, I believe it was Luca's decimated arm. Then you figured out you needed to help with this other problem. You went to the Splendor of Knowledge, quite frankly, the Candlekeep of this area, in my world, and got trapped in a extra-dimensional plane. No one ever wants to see a book again.
Oh, geez.
And you eventually got out. Unfortunately, you discovered when you got out that Mr. Brydove, who left ahead of you to go check in with his people after he'd been stuck in there for some time, not knowing how to get out, was killed.
No. Woo.
Which brings us to the current issue at hand.
Oh no.
You no longer have a sage to help you save this place. You also discovered that the magical mansion in the wall you were stuck in, seemed to belong to some pretty high level spellcasters. Their names I forgot to get because I was trying to plan for this while half watching the videos, while doing stuff with my wife tonight and some friends. So I could only really watch the here and there to plan while on my smoke breaks. Because otherwise we were, doing stuff. So I got enough. I got Brydove's name, but I can't remember the other people's. I do know the librarian that you're about to talk to start is named Inathia. But before we get to that, the immediate aftermath, which I may have kind of gone over last session. Again, I didn't get to listen to it in as much detail as I should have. But more or less, you find him dead. And a couple of the many magic users in the library quickly dispatch of the imp that he thought was just a statue, so he took it with him, and when he left, it disenchanted and turned out to be a real imp that was turned into a statue, and it killed him.
Oof.
The imp is disposed of by the time you get out. Now you have to figure out your next move. You know, there is some, not as much panic as there would be if, you know, an imp or any kind of devil or demon, you know, got loose in like a town. It's a magic-filled library. They just kind of dealt with it, but they are like, what the hell's happening? So after the immediate aftermath, excuse me, Inathia, the librarian, comes to you and is like, well, looks like you guys have a few options for what I understand you were here for. You can look for a new sage of equal abilities. You could, depending what your abilities are, try to strengthen yourself enough to solve the problem. Or try to figure out how to get enough money together to have him revived.
Well, does he deserve to be revived? I mean, he died really in a kind of dumb way.
I mean,
think
he
dumb
was...
people deserve to die?
Could have happened to any of us. Well, maybe sometimes. It's a cycle of life.
I mean, at least it wasn't us who died.
I mean, he
Had a lapse
died,
in judgment and died.
and he died from a sneak attack from something he didn't know wasn't a statue.
Which is why Reynolds said he died from a lapse in judgment.
Exactly.
It's not every day that statues actually turn into people, or things, as it were.
But then again, from
Usually
where he
you're
got it
close.
from, maybe he should have known to be more careful.
I mean, he didn't really go in.
I mean, he was stuck
Don't
in a room
touch
behind the library.
Anything.
There are a lot of sages here with that kind of power. Do they just walk the streets? Can we go knock on
yeah.
someone's door and just find someone?
You would have to travel a fair distance.
Of course.
Dang it.
Can we
Fair
fast
distance,
forward?
I'm assuming is like a few days worth.
Probably, yeah.
We
Doesn't
skipped
it-
time.
Can you what?
We skipped time.
Just like fast forward, like, okay, we traveled there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
let's waste some precious days looking for a sage.
Fast travel.
So, question for you, Mr. Young Wizard. Do you know the 9th level magic spell Time Stop? Or teleport, or anything that would speed
No.
up or slow down time?
Nope.
Then good luck. I
Well-
can help you arrange a couple of horses in a cart that might be a little faster. Might cut down from like, you know, a 10-day to 5 days.
I mean,
airships. We came here on one. Is there one of there and back?
You see that like we could afford that.
I mean, we're not in a
You
hurry,
might not
right?
be able to.
Like, we're not on a time crunch, are we?
I mean, the town's not gonna
Kind of.
like go from semi-withered to all the way withered in like a day, but you know, livestock's gonna start dropping dead pretty soon, which is kind of their livelihood.
And horses will be scarce.
Be quick, but don't panic is what they're trying to say.
I know which horse I would
Yeah,
eat first if I
I would
had
say-
to.
Panic?
That's a good way to put it, Mr. Reynolds. Yes. Also, as for the airship question, do any of you know this is Inathia in character, just to clarify, because it could also be a question as a DM, but it is in character. Do any of you know, like, yes, there's a lot of magic in this region, and people are familiar with it, but that doesn't mean everyone has access to it. Do you know what happens when the general populace sees, oh, look, there's adventurers on that airship, and now it's been blown up?
We shouldn't be
Ooh,
letting
whoops.
adventurers on airships.
Yeah, the rest of the
humanity-
captains are, you're going to have to earn your way back onto those, is what I'm saying.
Oh, great.
When did that
That's
happen?
great.
You literally had your airship blown out of the air while you were getting here.
I mean, it wasn't on purpose.
No, you're a bad omen, is what I'm saying.
Okay, that's
You're
fair.
bad luck.
Dang.
I am a black cat, but that's good
So,
luck in
how
some
it
places. Like,
sounds-
yeah.
It's pretty unrealistic that we could, well, depending on what spells we could use to solve the issue on our own, I don't think it's very realistic for one of us to be able to train in time to solve that, unless we could find a certain item that could cast such magic instead. I
Yeah.
feel like it would be the fastest route to just search for another sage, in my opinion. Does anyone else have any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really
Apparently
attached
not
to
on
that
the-
guy yet.
Before you even ask, by the way, Shirley, no, you cannot light anything on fire. You can't burn down the village.
I totally wasn't gonna do that yet.
No, that sounds like something she did already.
I can smell
I
the
would-
pyromania. Of
Actually, on the
I would
Ire Fane.
strongly advise against that.
I
Y'all
don't
need to
wanna
quit
be
telling my
banned. We don't
secrets,
wanna be
alright?
banned.
So, all in favor of finding a sage and hoping that they don't bring an imp from another world this time.
Can
Say
be a
aye.
can he be a fire mage
Aye.
sage?
Ugh.
We don't need another pyromancer on our team.
If I cleave
That's
your
coming
head
from
from your shoulders, you might be able to think a little better.
This coming from Steve. What's wrong with fire mages? So rude.
Whoa, we don't need you
No.
burning that entire village and getting banned.
I
That's
didn't
nothing
say-
to do.
Okay.
And Inathia just like, there's nothing wrong with being a mage who prefers to use fire elements. The problem is you have to know when to use them.
I never said I was gonna do it. Okay. That was Steve.
The answer to save our village is not burn it down.
Yes, Steve. Gosh, so mean.
I'm taking that as group consensus that we find another sage, though.
Yeah, where are those horses
Yeah.
you were talking about? Those
Yeah.
seem lovely.
There-
Y'all haven't eaten the
there
horses
is
yet?
one- I feel it's only fair. I can get you the horses. I feel it is fair to let you know. At this point, by the way, for anyone who's looked at like the terrain map or whatever that I gave you before, basically ignore it. I'm just making it up for the rest of the campaign to what I need.
I like it.
Especially since we're planning to restart in a new place in the third campaign, and I've already decided on that. So I'm just making the rest of this up where I need things, kind of as a precursor to what that will be like when we don't have a world map pre-built. Because I realized building a whole world map, while sort of being a good idea for me in the moment, turned out to be really stressful and overwhelming. Anyway, just letting people who do look at the maps and stuff I gave you guys know. If you hear something that doesn't sound like it matches up, disregard, because I'm basically disregarding that map at this point. Except for like you are on that island type thing. Other than that, like terrain, I'm disregarding. Before you commit to a 10-day outside the city, which can be quite dangerous, you are going to have to leave the city either way. If you go about 2 days outside of the city and up a bit, you may find either another sage or someone who can revive your sage.
Well, that just seems even better.
Just to give you all of your options. Now, including the mountain climb, it will probably still be about 4 to 5 days, but that's about the same speed it would be with horses to get from here to the next city anyway. And both are about equally dangerous. As long as you make sure you have climbing gear when you leave.
Good point.
Both great ideas.
Yeah.
And we're sure that there's no oversages in the city, correct?
I don't know. I don't really leave the library all that often. I'm sure there are. Whether or not they're
Competent?
strong enough to do what you need done is a different question.
I don't mind a bit of adventure. Go see some sights.
We could just keep an eye out on the way out of the city, because it is a rather large place.
I agree with this.
Well,
We
yeah.
probably should keep our eyes out. We don't know if we'll pass the stage or not. It's a very likely way we will use it.
And ask everyone on the street, just to be safe, of course.
Is there
Don't
a
actually do that. That's sarcasm.
is there a common point in the city where a lot of magical peoples gather?
You're standing in it.
Okay, that's fair.
That's
Well,
actually fair.
I mean, we
This
could
is
talk about.
large. This is both physically and physically building wise because giants, and also materials wise the largest magical library on the planet, as far as I know.
Impressive.
Yes.
Well, we could ask around here, or we could just book it and go to either upwards towards Sage or Cleric, or just to the next town.
Oh,
All sound
looking around here can't take more than an hour, if not just a hour. So I think we could just ask around before we leave, but
You walk fast, do you? You do realize you're in a city built for giants.
I was talking about the library, but
Oh. I mean, it is still fairly large. There's 4 or 5 floors with books lining and people lining every nook and cranny, and it's giant sized, so the floors are quite large. But you could probably do the building in an hour or two.
Sounds like a good start.
Well, it can't hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were strong enough to help us, we probably would have heard of them, right?
Not everyone wants to be heard.
Good point.
I think
That is a very good point. Not everyone who is skilled in any kind of, well, for your purposes, adventuring arts, essentially, fighting, druidic magic, that sort of thing. Not all of them actually, want attention. They do it because it's part of their culture, or they just want to be able to protect themselves and others when needed. So it's very possible you may find one strong enough.
Well, it's worth a try.
Would be willing to help us is the real question.
Only one way to find out.
All right.
And with that,
some may be open to helping you just because they're good people. Some may want payment or a favor of some kind, but I'm sure you'll find someone.
all right. Well, so they're just gonna walk out of the conversation and go looking for people and talking.
Yeah, same with Reynold. Reynold's just gonna start ascending the floors and checking each one, unless we all want to do a split up job. Which
just for the purpose of my notes that I actually decided to keep, if you end up needing to do something beyond the library to find or fix your current or new sage, do you guys have a plan B of those other options decided on?
My I don't have a plan B, but plan C is magical items and like
No, what I'm
proximity from.
asking is,
And
did you
robbery.
if you have to go to the mountain or the city, did you
Oh,
decide what you're
right,
doing?
that.
Probably the
Um,
mountain, just because it's a shorter
probably
distance.
well shorter on A to B thing.
Well, it takes less time. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah, it's more
Takes
scenic.
less time to get to the base of the mountain, at least.
Yeah. So at the
Who
very
knows where
least,
it
we'd
goes
have
from there?
After that, it depends on how effective your climbing is.
We
Anywho,
all
I
have
just
great
want
experience with mountains, so might as well continue.
cool. I just wanted to have that there in case it comes up, and it may not because I'm actually going to have you guys roll to see what you find.
I was about to say,
Uh,
would investigation
so,
assist in this?
so here's what we're going to do. Can I get? Well, actually, Charlene, how do you want to help?
All right. Well, I was just gonna go look around for someone that's got the same interests as me. That looks like they know about magic.
So you're looking for a fire mage.
Yes.
Okay. We'll come back to you then. Luca, how do you wish to assist? Like, are you like, for example, what I thought Shirley might say, depending on which side of her character and abilities and just sort of role play and whatever she might go with, uh, she could have, even though Tabaxi aren't necessarily officially like cat people in the sense of like certain advantages mechanically or whatever. Sometimes people will lean into the cat side of their cat person and be like, I'm gonna sniff for them. To like for a certain or something, you know. So like what do you want to do as far as like
Oh.
are you just gonna go up and talk to people? Do you want to use like a spell of some kind to try to detect a certain kind of magic? Like what do you want to do?
Like, do I smell smoke? Singed clothes?
I don't know. Can you just come back to me?
Okay. Reynold, what are you doing?
I am going the not techn well, how do I word it? Not technically polite because I would be interrupting people, but yes, I'm going to be asking around on the various floors.
Okay. Steve, do you know how you would be assisting with trying to find someone who can help you?
Probably just the same as Reynold.
Okay. Zervier, what are you doing?
Same thing, just talking to people, seeing what they know.
Okay. Luca, do you have any ideas?
I I was just gonna say probably just going asking around.
Okay.
Since
So Charlene, I'll come back to you because you had a more specific thing you were looking for, and it also has nothing to do with what everybody else is looking for, which is completely fine. It just means I'm going to wait to come to do yours. So I'll just go in chat order then. Luca, tell me, are you going up to someone just mid conversation and butting in, or are you actually trying to find someone who's like finished the like available to talk to?
Luca would find somebody who's not talking to
Okay.
anybody.
So in that case, you find a probably late middle aged human fellow, probably about 50 to 60. Looks like he's studying. You can see him looking up and around. He gives you a smile, like it doesn't seem like. It seems more like he's reading. Yes, he enjoys it clearly because he's in the world's largest library and he's probably into magic to a degree. But he seems like mostly he's just reading to pass the time, less so than like specifically engaged in it. It's just a thing to do to keep himself busy. So he seems open to you coming over.
Oh,
Oh, hello there. You're a new one to the. I haven't seen you here before.
yeah, you could say that.
You see me? You see he's giving like squinting, but not in that like older man who's having trouble seeing. Like he's squinting, like he's thinking or trying to remember something. He's like, "Were you on the airship that crashed?"
Yeah.
Deny.
Unfortunate event.
Black and
I had to,
purple
like-
hair. Black and purple hair. Are you the maniac that jumped off?
I didn't jump off.
Because I heard you jumped.
I didn't jump off.
Well, anyway, I'm glad you survived.
Thank you.
How can I help you?
Do you know of any any mages on the scale of I already forgot his name.
Brydove.
Brydove. Do you know any mages on the scale Neo or more powerful than Brydove?
I know who you're talking about. I'm just trying to think. You know what? I think I did hear about one. You won't find him in the library, unfortunately. Yeah, they're in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they hang out up in that big mountain or a couple days east of here.
Alright.
And other than that, closest you could get would probably be myself or someone about my level, and I'm not quite strong enough to do what they need. What sounds like you need. I mean, I'm close enough I could try, but it would be less of a guarantee it would work if I tried it.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'll have
No
to
problem.
talk to my team. See if... But yeah, thank you. And then
No problem. Try not to jump off any more airships, would you?
Yeah.
Got him.
He just sort of chuckles and goes back to his book as you leave.
I hope we like travel like across continents and people are still talking about that.
No,
That's the only thing you're known for.
I agree for that.
God, I hope not.
Luca the Leaper.
It was like our
One second
Hindenburg.
before we continue, just go over here to the notes section. Luca the Leaper.
I love making up titles.
So, just going in order, other than Charlene, just going in chat order. Reynold, you're just basically 8 charismaing it up or whatever the hell your charisma is.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh wait, I have a charisma of 10.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you have no tact and you're butting into a conversation.
You will be charismaing nobody. Not with a 10.
I mean, it's possible with a 10, but with a 10, I'm not assuming anything. I'm asking how would Reynold handle it?
Like with a 10 in charisma, he's not very social. With what he's gone through, he's probably not the best of proper social etiquette when it comes to like big debates and that. So if he sees someone talking, he's not going to immediately assume it's a debate.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't sound like you see a couple of what you assume are wizardy types talking. They don't seem to be like arguing, they're just discussing, having a chat. That said, they are mid-conversation.
He would probably walk up to one of the groups and just politely interject and say, "Mind if I butt in?"
So you see two folks. A elven man talking to a dwarf fellow. The elven man doesn't judge you exactly, but he's just kind of quiet. Like maybe he doesn't talk much to people he doesn't already know, and has an excuse to talk to. The dwarf, on the other hand, like, hi, what do you want?
I was wondering if you were aware of any sages about the same strength of. Oh, I forgot their name too. I hear you say it, and it's just like, was it
Brydove.
great? Brydove. Thanks. Brydove.
Aye. What you want them for?
There is a village in great need of magical services, and it only has a few days until it might reach some sort of dreadful end.
Ah. Well then. You'll be wanting to head up that mountain over there.
Great.
I mean, you might find someone here, but if there's someone here that strong enough for that, I've never encountered them.
I see. Thank you for your wisdom.
No problem. Also, one more thing, Tin Man.
Excuse me?
Don't interrupt the adults next time. I cut you some slack on account of you don't look like you belong here.
Reynold is making a mental note of this dwarf.
Gonna find out where this dwarf lives, his family, his children.
Yeah,
He's
let me,
really correct.
Do you? Obviously, you're not saying this out loud, but are you like doing any kind of gesture, like eyeing him up or anything that is like apparent you're looking at him funny?
A little bit. I'm hoping the helmet kind of helps in them not noticing as much, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm remembering this one.
So you roll me a.
He's on the petty grudge list.
Are we gonna fight?
It's not a perfect one for. Oh, there's not gonna be a fight. Unless it was in a big major hub city that I set up for you guys to be able to come rest in and stuff. I might do a fight, but it would be like last time where it was like you pretty much know you're fighting something when you get there.
Yeah. The only way
Major cities, I typically don't fuck around with unless it is like a big high point of the story. That said, roll the closest thing I can think of for this is roll me a deception check.
Mm-hmm. Oh my, those? Where's this? Oh, there it is. +0. I love those. First, let me make sure I have the right. Yep.
Oh, jeez. Well, with that kind of rolling, you
Um,
might break out in a fight.
So you don't realize it right away, but after 5 or 10 seconds, you realize you stopped dead when he said that, and clearly are like looking him up and down without even really realizing it.
Oops.
And he just looks at you and goes, "Try it. I dare ya."
Fight, fight.
Oh, not today. Maybe, I don't know, some other week. I say with a slight jest in my tone, but also saying, yeah, I did take a bit of offense to your words.
And he just shakes his head and looks at the door or the elf and just mutters something in a language you probably don't speak.
Yeah, probably don't. I'm
What
gonna.
do you speak?
Oh, just common draconic and infernal.
Yeah, no.
Caturday.
You because you know infernal, I'd say you sort of slightly know it in the sense that it it has very loose, like it's probably also from like the Hells or Underdark or some awful place. But it does not sound sound like infernal. It just sort of like French and Spanish have like some like words that are
Mm-hmm.
kind of close.
Yeah.
Because they all started in like Europe based off of like ancient languages.
Yeah, the
So
Latin
there's
base.
Latin is what I was looking for. But so they're all kind of
Yeah.
Latin based, but then they split into their own variations. It's kind of like that, where it's like there's some syllables and maybe even a word or two you can kind of make out, but it's definitely a very different language.
Nice. What language you're
Um,
referencing?
Abyssal.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
okay.
figured
Yeah,
so.
I was thinking,
I
yeah, this is
assumed.
Abyssal. I just didn't want to say it
Mhm.
because I didn't
I
want to
wish I
meta.
was there.
Honestly,
I mean, we've probably heard
So,
of it.
Steve, would you like to approach someone as well?
Probably not.
Steve
As
is
soon as
scared.
Sima comes up.
Steve's just gonna
Try to-
join like a reading circle because he's a wizard.
Sounds
He's gonna
about
see like a
right.
snack stand and just like get totally sidetracked.
Zaravir.
Yeah, I mean, he's
I
he's
know you
researching.
definitely wanted to contribute.
Of course, I'm a charisma guy. I have to contribute. Xavier's gonna find like the biggest group of people, or at least the most intelligent group of people he sees, and just try to like insert himself into the conversation. And he's gonna try to do it as politely as possible.
Um,
Just
so you see sort of like a semicircle of people sitting at a like a big round table. They seem to all be sitting on the same side. Uh, and seem to be jawing back and forth with each other. Oh, they're actually kind of all around the table. It's sort of like a conference table. And then you you see something weird. The head of the table stands up. And the person to his right stands up. And she just looks up at this much taller individual as this human, or humanoid anyway. You're still like 30, 40 feet away. It's hard to tell if it's a human, an elf. Definitely the taller, slender end of medium sized. Looks up at what you can now see is probably roll me a history check
history.
just to get a couple rolls in, since we're doing a pretty good amount of actual just role playing tonight. Get a couple dice rolls in there.
Hey, not bad.
16's plenty. It is a cloud giant. The
wow.
biggest, as far as I know, of giants. Certainly in most sort of giant realms in other like official D&D books, they tend to be the most potent ones. You know, the ones at the top of the ordinance in like the Forgotten Realms giants. If memory serves. Either cloud giants, storm giants, something like that. I forget what they're exact. I think it's them anyway. They're surely one of the bigger ones. And she just looks up at him, and you can hear it. Like she's not yelling, but it's kind of an echoey stone chamber. So then she's not trying to be quiet. She just, for some reason, looks up at him and goes, sticks her hands up and like flicks them. Not snaps, but like open and closes her hand, almost like if you were making the motion of like talking with your hand, but sort of like a little kid would do to say I want something, and just holds her hands up and just goes uppies. And the cloud giant sort of chuckles and just goes and just lets out a big okay, and just grabs her by the scruff of the neck, like on her clothes, like
Oh
not
my God.
like between his like fingers, and just hoists her up on his shoulder. And then she proceeds to let me double check something actually, so I make, because one part of this is going to sort of involve D&D, actual mechanical spell related stuff. So I want to make sure I do this right. Bu- 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 That one. That one, please. Do, 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 do. And you see her. It's interesting. You've seen this before. It's not. It's a pretty common thing. Typically, clerics use it, although she looks more wizard roby. But you figure she's probably dabbled, faith of some kind. As she, it seems to still be her wand, but you notice as you're getting closer, there's some kind of carving in the wand. It's a little bit bigger than normal wand. Not quite a staff. It's still handheld, but it's a little bit thicker than your average wand. It's almost if you turned it around, it'd be about the size of uh, a nightstick. It's a weirdly big for a focus, but it seems to be what she's using. She just puts it under her chin, round, kind of points it at her own throat, and then proceeds to. Actually, no, she doesn't, because she doesn't need to actually do that. I just realized I read the spell component wrong. But she kind of does it for show, almost like she's tapping her vocal cords. And then she quite loudly, and by quite loudly, I mean very loudly, probably about triple the volume. She goes, "Children, back to class." And the rest of the table that you notice are a lot younger than her get up and walk down the hall somewhere. Seems while it's not a formal school exactly, that there is some sort of school-like program in this giant library. You get the sense she was drawing attention to herself to make sure they listened. And then she climbs down, and the giant heads back with them with the kids. And she sees you sort of approaching. She goes, "Yes?"
Oh, well, didn't know they had school programs here.
Yes, if you're gifted enough.
Your students are talented in the magical ways, I presume.
You could say that. They're talented in many ways that are obviously magical. Some of them are, I don't know if magical is quite the right word, but special.
Kids or something. But I don't come to you for that. I'm more just on the lookabouts for someone with such special magical abilities. Someone like our dead friend over there. I'm sure you heard the chaos appeared from the screaming.
Oh, yes, I helped deal with the imp problem.
Yeah, the one who was on the unfortunate side of that. Me and my companions, whatever they are, we needed him. We're looking for someone like him.
Well, you may find someone in the next city to the east, depending on if they're home or not. If they're home, you'll find the same person at the top of the mountain to the east as well.
No one local.
Not particularly.
Mm.
It's not that we don't have anyone strong enough to do what those kind of sages are doing. It's more so that they're dabbling into modifying things that the rest of us can do to a smaller scale to increase the scale they can do it at.
Unique way to approach it, I guess.
Yes, and for the times that it works for them, it's great. The testing, as you can imagine, if you're at all magically inclined, can be a bit messy when it doesn't work. Depending what they're trying to expand. So that's why they tend to live in places like the top of a mountain where there's, plateaus that they can have lots of open air to try things without too much risk of anything major happening.
Makes sense. In that case, do you know of any faster travel there? Anyone with maybe enough coin could get us there magically?
I can see what I can do. Stay in town for the night. I assume you're planning to stay at the Triad.
Is that where we're staying? I don't actually remember.
I don't remember if you ever technically decided because you weren't expecting to be stuck in that other house for that long. Technically, now that you know the code words to get both in and out, you could also just stay in the house in the wall. It seems to be permanent.
Well, that place creeps Servier out. I don't think he'd want to.
But otherwise, if you're looking to stay more on the physical plane, the Triad seems to be the main inn in town. There are some other smaller ones that have opened as more people of different sizes, giant and otherwise, moved in, but that's certainly the most famous one.
Well, yes, yeah, that's where we'll be staying. I'm sure we'll be there in the morning if you can find anything.
Excellent. I will come see you in the morning then.
One last thing.
Hmm?
This is a fairly magical city. Do any of you... I'm sure there's artifacts all over the place. Anyone know a way to track some of those artifacts if someone's looking for something?
Possibly. What are you looking for?
That's an interesting... Zarvier would pull out from his little bag this book. It's mostly empty, except for a few pages, and he'll rip out one of the pages, and it'll be a picture of this weirdly almost dice-shaped artifact. That it's very roughly drawn. Zarvier's no artist, but he'll just hand that to her.
She looks at it rather intensely for a moment, and then goes, I know of a couple of them in existence.
Do you know of where? Or where I could start?
The last time I heard of one coming up was about 25 years ago. Someone claimed to have found it, and they claimed they were going to do research on it, and then it disappeared.
You know their name?
You just sort of see her. Let me ask. Let me ask a sort of question to keep some things close to one or both of our chests without giving away too much to the other players until you want them to know. Would we consider this something with our sort of tweaks to the roleplay elements of your character's mechanics, shall we say? Do you think this is something, if it was related directly to him, that he would remember?
I'm sorry. What do you mean?
We said, I told you I was going to let you have more memories than a normal reborn for story reasons.
Yeah,
Does he remember his research?
Oh,
Does he remember why he's looking for this thing, is what I'm asking.
He probably the only thing he remembers is that whole day. That whole everything went to shit. He tried to fix shit. Everything went to more shit.
So he does remember. So he does remember that day.
Yeah, though, Zarvir's old. He's not 20. It wasn't 25 years ago. That was hundreds of years ago.
That's why I asked what your age was.
Well, yeah, I told you my age.
You said 40.
Oh, you mean currently? Oh, that's very different of a
Yeah,
number.
when
I think
the
you're talking about
research was
before
in
all of
play.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So here's the thing.
during the research, he was around 40. Now he's old.
Well, here's the funny thing. Sometimes that stuff changes.
Oh, I see.
We're gonna say he would, if he had continued aging, he'd be about. You said 40 for the research. He'd be about 70 right now.
Okay.
I misunderstood you the other time and thought, well, actually, I just thought of some story beats that you being close, the late middle age end of current fits better with. Still old, but not as ancient old as we were first just thinking about.
Gotcha.
So for the purposes of this, we're gonna go with mechanically you're about 70 now, although you don't age anymore.
Gotcha. Cool. That works then. Thank
Um,
you.
and the reason for that, I thought that you seemed more confused. I forgot we had said you were originally just thought we're planning for you to be way older, but then I'm like, that doesn't work for what I've. Your age isn't
Yeah.
crucially important to your story,
It's a
and
nice
as
little
long as
flavor
it's
bit.
and it's better if you're on the old end of still present day living, because there's elements I want to put in from my end that work better that way. But you're still old. You're close. I'd say if you did the research at 40, yeah, you'd be about 70 now. Yeah, more close to it if you were in your 40s.
Cool. Okay.
As we tweak things about someone's character in the middle of a game, because that's what happens when you're working shit out as you go. And you have players that are open to that.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, let's put it this way. You're still by far the oldest person in this group.
I imagined, yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. Xavier is definitely still the older one, though he might not look it.
Which is more so what we seem to care about with what we were discussing as far as
Yeah.
your plans for the character concept. As long as you were significantly older than the rest of them. But yeah, she basically looks at you and goes, when she says what she said about the research, you know she's talking about you.
Gotcha. Okay.
You were the last person, or at least your group was the last person known to have had one of these in their possession.
Oh, well, you've not heard of it anywhere else?
I've heard that there might be more than one in existence. I have not heard of one or more of them since then. No.
Well, thank you. I suppose if you hear anything, send for me. I suppose it's the most important thing that I find that it's more important than most of us can imagine.
It certainly seems to be very important to you. Yes.
Yes, it is. With that, Zarver would very politely just walk away.
Excellent. She didn't give a name, and neither did you in our talking. We'll just assume they eventually did, so that you would have a way to find each other. I just we were far enough into the conversation, I didn't bother doubling back for it. That's right. I know what I'm looking for now. Yes. So, Charlene, I did not forget about you. You were looking for another fire wielder, yes? I think Charlene may have passed away.
Oh yeah, I'm
It
still
was a really tedious search.
watching for them.
Give me a perception check.
All right. Let's see. Are we doing a slash roll on this one or? Exclamation mark.
I just usually do exclamation C, but that's just me. We're just rolling it in Discord.
Okay, cool.
Eventually, I'll decide if I'm going to
Oh,
keep using owlbear or what I'm going to do for battle maps. But right now, we don't need a battle map anyway because no one's fighting.
I put in the wrong
She
channel.
rolled-
It's 18.
Yeah, she put it in.
18. After about 2 or 3 minutes of kind of sniffing and looking around, your nose is pretty attuned, not even just your cat side, but literally just your pyromancer side. Is pretty attuned to sniffing out flames. And you sense that there is someone. You find a big set of stairs that seem to go down multiple floors, and you figure somewhere down there is what you're looking for.
All right, I'm going straight to it.
So you're on about the 4th floor at this point. You go down all the way past the main floor, actually, and this is one of the sets of stairs that actually goes down to the basement. Or in a house-sized building, it would be a basement. It's an under basement floor, basically. And sure enough, you see what looks like a big, pretty open area. It looks like this is probably where like students and other magic users try magic of a level that's safe to do indoors for the first time. A testing ground, as it were. And you see somebody who seems to be flinging some small, like fist-sized bolts of fire at a target. And then you see him point his right hand at over to his right side, about 50, 60 feet in this giant, like 200-foot wide space. And there's about 7 or 8 targets in a 30 or 40-foot circle, and he just blows them all up with a fireball.
Oh, that sounds amazing, actually. I want in on that. Shoot.
Do you say that out loud?
Yes.
So the person turns to you, and when they turn, you see their face is burned on the left-hand side. They had the right side facing towards you, but it does not look like a burn of flame. It looks like probably a chemical or acid burn of some kind.
That's not as cool. Accidents happen.
Other than that, they're still recognizable to you. It seems that they, from the stories you've heard about them, it seems they may have, which you know is possible if enough training and time is put into it, which is my way of saying that I believe it was in the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything book. They made it so you could change your subclass if you had enough downtime. It is possible, either for, fighting classes or wizard types, or in your case, in this person's case, druid types, to sort of break from one circle and train under another. It seems this person is currently doing much the same kind of stuff that you are. But even with some burns on one side of their face, you do recognize them. And you know that's not what they used to do. They used to be of a different circle. They seem to have taken the time to refocus their druidic abilities. But aside from the burn on the left side half of the face, they look like this, more added to that.
Ooh.
Hold on.
Yes.
And they just sort of look over at you and they're like, hello.
Oh, that's so cool. I've heard stories about you. I like your style.
You see him pause for a second,
Rope.
and not so much at your words, like yes at your words, but not like he's surprised to be recognized. I mean, he's not surprised. It's almost like he thinks he recognizes you. He's just like, and you see him kind of shake it off. He's like, can't be. Hello, I'm Robo. Pleased to meet you.
Meowdy, how you doing?
I'm feeling I'm feeling I'm having a bit of deja vu.
Some deja vu?
Yes, you look an awful lot like someone that I used to see a lot.
Oh yeah, there are some interesting black cats around. I'm their biggest fan. I guess that would be Raina.
Ah,
She'd be famous,
yes,
right?
yes, it would. Yes, it would indeed.
Yeah.
You don't give off the same kind of vibes, though.
Oh
What
yeah.
is your name, dear?
I'm Charlene. They call me Charlie for short.
And what brings you to this fine establishment?
Ah, well, we're in a bit of spot trouble. We're looking for some strong mage friends that can help us out. There's danger coming, you know, the usual. We got to be the good guys and save the day. The town. You've seen the town, right? You've heard the
I think
issue.
I know which town. I've heard of it.
Yeah, they've been sending out calls for help, and it's been falling on deaf ears. They're gonna lose their livelihoods faster than two shakes of a lamb's tail.
Did you say it's falling on deaf ears?
No one's helping them.
That's alarming.
They're not gonna make it.
That is very alarming indeed.
I mean, it might be something to do with people that accidentally burn things and aren't the most credible after we have been involved in certain exploding airship accidents.
No, it's more than that.
Okay, good. I don't feel so bad
Just-
now.
It's troubling to me because I know someone who was supposed to have already gone and dealt with that.
Oh, he's dead.
Well, if he's dead, we're in a lot bigger trouble than I thought.
I mean, it wasn't related. It was kind of a freak accident. The place he'd like to stay was a bit dangerous, and he took a little souvenir that happened to not be so inert, and that's what got him. One of those impish things. You know how it is. These things happen.
Who are you talking about?
Wasn't that the guy that died? Our Brydove guy?
Brydove is capable of that, but that's not who I was talking about.
Well, Charlene's confused.
I was. I don't like this. Give me 15 minutes to have a nap and look at my spell list.
Wow, wait, is Robo? Wow, I swear I just heard Robo's voice. That's exactly what he would say.
Fantastic.
No. It's like, this isn't normally something in my wheelhouse, but I do know someone whose wheelhouse it is, who is in town right now. I was planning to meet up with them later anyway. I'll see if I can get them to help with this. For now, take this and allow us to keep in touch. And the gnome shuffles over and pops a redstone in your hand.
Ooh. I like red.
I'll call you when I have everything in order. Probably be tomorrow morning.
Oh, excellent. My friends will be happy to hear about this.
In the meantime, can you do me a favor?
But of course.
Can you deliver this for me? He gives you a letter with an address written on it.
That'll give me something to do.
Excellent. I will see. You will hear from me tomorrow.
All right. Anything for the robo?
You. I mean, I suppose you could actually open it, but do you want to at least see where you're delivering this thing?
I guess I'd be better than wander around aimlessly.
So the delivery address. I'm not going to bother spelling out the street address. It's not important. But you know the location that it's going to. You've been there already. The name on the delivery address is Brother Leonide's Hairfoot.
Oh, well, that's easy.
So, you take that back to your room. For the purposes of this, unless you guys really want to do 5 minutes of telling each other what you just, as players, heard was going on, we can just say you filled each other in when you came back. It's none of it is that important. I mean, yes, it's important, but it's not worth role playing it when I can just say you filled each other in on that stuff. Because if you even want to pretend to be a team, you should be telling each other that stuff. If there's anything that you, for some reason, don't want included, let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to assume all the important as a group stuff you at least share with each other.
I'm an open book.
Like the stuff that, to succeed as a team, you should probably know is what I'm getting at. Like locations and names and things of that nature.
Hiding anything.
So, as everyone parts at the inn and goes to your respective rooms for the night, Reynold, as a reborn, you don't really need to sleep per se, but mechanically in D&D, you still have to sort of rest.
I kind of like rest for like the same amount of time, or actually, I think it's only 4. No.
I think it's 6. I think for a reborn, or is that a Warforged? One of the two.
Racial traits, deathless. Yep. You don't need to sleep, but I can finish a long rest in 4 hours if I spend those hours in an inactive, motionless state, during which I retain consciousness.
Yeah. So, for the purposes of this, whether you're conscious for it or not doesn't matter, as long as you're by yourself in the place you're going to rest, essentially.
Is reading the hold on, let me read it. The Book of Martial Techniques on a Chain constitute still enough for a long rest?
Yes, except that halfway through, you get interrupted.
Oh.
And are you sitting down to read? Are you sort of walking the room like some people like to read while standing and pacing?
Well, I'd have to be sitting in order for it to constitute as a long rest, because I still have to be...
You can. Well, yeah, I guess it says motionless for yours. Usually for
Motionless.
for a regular person's long rest, they can do like light activities, like as long as you're just like you can't walk like an adventuring pace, but you could like pace in your tent for a while or whatever. But anyway, doesn't matter. I was just curious for flavor. But yeah, about 2 hours in, you the book in your hand uh flat changes, uh and you see a flash of a face, and you sort of blink and try to shake it off, and then you see it again,
Do I
and you
recognize the
slam.
face?
We'll get to that. And then
Okay.
so once you've had enough of it, you just close the book. You're like, this, maybe this is magically, it was attached to a magic fucking bookcase. Maybe there's something weird about it. It's cursed or something. Who knows? Then you look up across at the reading table you're at across from you, or the dining table, and you see the face again attached to a body, and don't you recognize it. You don't remember where from. All you do know is you can't remember why you know the face. All you know is you remember the face, and you remember that based on your memory of the face, it's impossible that that face is in front of you.
Hmm. And I'm guessing from how you described it, I don't have a name to the face, do I?
No.
Yeah.
Like I said, your memory is very foggy as a reborn. Slowly, sometimes things come back. For some reborn, it never comes back. Some remember more than others. You know you recognize the face, and you remember enough about the time you last saw the face to know that you shouldn't be seeing the face, but you don't remember whose face it is. In other words, what
Uh-huh.
I'm saying is you're pretty sure that that person either died or went missing or something, but you're not. You can't remember all the details. You just know you recognize the face, and the fact you're seeing it in this circumstance feels
Is
wrong
wrong.
to you.
All right. I don't. Yeah, with what you're giving me, it doesn't sound like I can roll history on it because that sounds like the limits of my memory for now.
For now, yes, that is an intentional. I'm milking your reborn memory thing.
Nice.
Uh, can I ask, just as like a player who's curious, what is? Can you give us a description of the face? Like their species? Uh, I don't know. What else? What else is important about a face? They have scars.
Um, I can. Um, it's tiefling face. Uh, Details are hard to make out. It's more of a shape of a face. You just remember, like, it's almost like a shadow, but you haven't until you met Zarvir for these new adventures. You haven't met that many tieflings in any of the past lives of yourself that you can remember from any of the times you've been awake. So there's only been a handful. You know it's not Zarvir. The outline doesn't fit. You've only met a couple. So you're pretty sure, even though you can't put a face to the name or even a full face, that you should know who this is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's definitely weird that they're suddenly like, you know enough to know when you look back, they're not there. So it's clearly like some sort of essentially, you don't really sleep, but for lack of a better term, a dream
Mm. Yeah.
or a
Do I
vision of some kind, but it's frighteningly real.
do I regard this face? Would I regard this face friendly or not? Given that I don't know the true, like, what's the my lord, I can't think of words tonight. The right, the alignment of this face. I am gonna start reaching for my executioner sword. Like, is this thing going? Is this thing gonna attack?
No. On the contrary, you get an overwhelming feeling of guilt, like maybe it's someone you previously attacked.
Hmm. I'm gonna reach out to them if possible. Like, just kind of like see if I can touch them. Are they physical, tangible, or is this some sort of trip?
Um, it doesn't seem that they're tangible, but when you look away and look back, they do reappear, and you notice that the eyes are not real, but like there's not really a non-meta way to explain this. Basically, the eyes look more like a 3D illusion. Essentially, they seem to be scrying on you, whoever they are, and that's the image when you notice it, because it's invisible-ish for story reasons. I'm letting you see it. Possibly they want you to see it. Essentially, instead of like a floating little orb thing like they describe, a lot of DMs describe, I'm saying it's appearing as a pair of eyes on the shadow.
I see.
But you, even though you're more of a martial person, the bits and pieces of memories you have of previous like armies and being in this, library, you know there is magic that somebody could be looking through those eyes at you with an actual spell, and probably are.
I'm gonna just. Is there anything it seems I can do to maybe like cover the eyes or just?
No, but they after another 5 or 10 minutes they seem to disappear, and they don't return that night.
Hmm.
I'm just. Well, the next 2 hours in that case are gonna be dedicated to pondering about what the fuck was that in character.
So next morning, you all awaken and meet up as planned down in the tavern area, and a couple of people call you or visit you. One of them is the lady that I believe it was the lady who offered to help you guys figure out your next move. But as she's starting to enter, you see her get stop, and you see her kind of mouthing something. It seems like maybe she's. You guys are familiar. Some of you, at least, are familiar enough with magic, even if it's magic you can't do yet, to know what a sending spell is. They're not that uncommon. Third level magic is not every wizard, not every Tom, Dick, and Harry that knows how to do a cantrip or first level spell gets that high, but they're common enough in a heavily magical fantasy world. You know what a sending spell is. And you can see she stops like she's getting one of those and responding to it, and she actually turns and doesn't even come to see you. And you find out a minute or two the reason for that when your sending stone goes off, Charlene.
Really?
I'm gonna have to answer that. Did I tell everyone else about it already?
Oh yeah, I assumed anything important like that you would have.
Oh yeah, so they knew. I'd start going. Do I know where to go? Or do I just answer it like a phone?
Oh yeah, you just sort of basically put it to your ear like a phone is the way I always envision it for an easy real world example. And just sort of talk into it.
What's the skinny?
She's on her way. She'll be there in 5.
Oh, I better get my pants on then.
I would hope you have pants on. You're in the tavern right now.
Well, things happen, you drink too much.
Yeah, but you weren't in the tavern when you fell asleep.
So you're drinking at like 8 in the morning?
Don't you?
You know what? To each their own.
Right?
Maybe I'm just missing out on that.
Yeah, look where we live. I mean, yeah.
A few minutes later, Robo's companion that he promised arrives. Um, they look absolutely head to toe pristine. And just, you can't imagine, even you, Steve, who's a wizard and knows that there are wizards and a couple of other magic users who can magically clean clothes, cannot imagine clothes ever being this clean looking.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
They are just, it's almost like there's an aura of like, there's a like, that you, whether you know it or not, you know that wizards and a couple other arcane casters can do what's called prestidigitation, where you can just snap dirt off of things and magically basically make it look like new. This doesn't look like brand new clothes. It literally almost looks like there's some kind of aura of magic preventing the clothes getting dirty. It's weird. It's there's actually pretty much literally a just very faint person shaped glow around them that you figure is how they look so pristine.
I was gonna joke about that, saying like it's so pristine, it's literally like reflecting light into our eyes and blinding us.
No, but they do seem to have a light gold aura around them.
That uses out too
Is
much
this
and
friend
now they're just
also
glowing.
like in armor?
Yes, they are, as a matter of fact.
That's so weird.
They are. Let me see what they are adorned in.
Probably some like big chunky metal.
I don't remember. I have to look. I mean, clearly they're wearing like bright white robes as well, but what did you have on? Okay, they did. So yeah, they're wearing spectacularly shining silver and gold plate armor. And the woman looks to you and goes, "Are you Charlene?"
You got me.
It seems I have found the right group then.
Wow, you're shiny.
And that, after I post the image that goes with the person, is where we will take our break.
Knew it.
Pretty
I knew
lady.
it.
I was calling it from the start. As soon
Yes.
as I said clean,
Yes.
it's like it's Maya. It's Maya.
So we're going to take our mid-session break. For those of you watching this back on my YouTube, where I'm planning to split it into approximately 1 hour shorter episodes, we will see you for the next episode. And for the rest of you who are streaming or just playing in the game with me, I'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's so beautiful.
Yeah, bro, everyone from last
I'm
campaign's doing great.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot
Yeah.
in the. I'm getting, for a very specific reason, I'm getting a lot of nostalgia out of the way early, so that these people are in place, so that you can all then go, let's go to so and so for this thing, and they can find a reason to tell you no and make you earn it.
Aww.
Because there's really two ways I found to handle this sort of nostalgic stuff, if I'm going to, which I like to, especially since we are going to take at least a break from this world for the next campaign. I can either do it slowly and have them come to you to help you with something in the moment you need it, or just sort of a random NPC encounter replaced with nostalgia character. Or I can dump it all now And then that way you have these allies, but you still don't know them that well. So some bigger things, especially if it's more for your gain than other people's, they're adventurers. They understand you're going to want to make a living doing this. It's dangerous. But maybe if you're like, hey Robo, can you fireball the crap out of that camp of bandits? He might be like, no, I think you guys can handle that one yourself. You're doing that for money. You're not doing that for the good of anyone else. If you need to fight something big, strong, and need a little backup, maybe I can help. That type of thing.
Do it, Robo.
Can I ask
Get
one thing,
him.
Paul?
Huh?
Ever since becoming a monk or along those lines, has Leonid ever touched a bottle of anything with some content of alcohol?
It's been about 25 years or about 5 years since that thing happened. I would say it's been about 4.5 years.
Oh, interesting.
It's impressive.
He went on a 6-month
believe.
mental health bender. Realized that wasn't helping, and between a couple of powerful forces that owed you guys your old group a favor or two, sort of converted to cleric instead of warlock. Jimmy was sort of like, you did kind of save not just your planet, but like the universe, and the Feywild is in there, so I guess I kind of owe you. And he kind of let you out. He's also more of a mischievous Fey than like a bad Fey, really. So he's like, you're going through enough. You're not fun to mess with anymore. You're broken.
Oh, nice.
I don't want to play
And
with you anymore.
He's just sort of like, I'll still check in on you as a genuine like friend, but like he is very much a like, yes, he would be, if using a player character, he would be considered a like chaotic good, but he is very much good aligned as a Fey goes. So like he's like, the chaotic in me likes to mess with people but in a fun way. And you are genuinely like broken right now. I think I should just leave you alone and let you go do this cleric thing you want to do. And you did, and it worked. And Amaya, even though they're at different churches, this world. One of the things I did when I was building, as much of it as I put thought into building, was even though it might not be traditional D&D humongous gods fighting each other in the background bullshit, I wanted the gods to be important mechanically for people who wanted to play things related to gods, but not. The gods hate each other. Everyone does that. I wanted, like, these guys are actually a cohesive unit who work as a team because their specialty of what they, maybe they were at one point mortal who ascended, whatever it was, who, unless you want to learn the specific backstories, I have written some for a few of them, if you find them. But basically, it was like, however they got their godly powers, this person is more inclined to giving life. This person's more inclined to basically being the angel of death, but kind of more like the Family Guy version, where not the comedy element, but like he's not made out to be evil. He's just the guy who ushers you from life into death, because that's a traumatic experience. He's basically your death therapist, for lack of a better word.
Welcome to therapy.
It's like,
Yay.
listen, your soul is, you didn't sell it to the hells. It's coming to one of us. I'm either going to usher your soul to where you go. So like Amaya would go to her god. Leonides would now go to his, whatever. Or if you don't have a god, you can stay in my realm. And I'll keep your soul safe from evil, essentially. And give you a place to go to rest. But yeah, basically, he finally was like, you know what? This hasn't worked. I'm not necessarily vibing entirely with, Amaya's exact religion, but I know she was willing to teach me sort of. I mean, even in real world, like, religions are different. They have different variations on maybe some of them are the same stories told different sides, whatever. But, like, most modern religions have some form of going to a temple as a group and listening to readings from your holy book, that sort of thing. So she kind of guided him through that part, and then the brothers and sisters in his specific religion taught him what he needed to know, and gradually he was like, I feel better. I haven't forgotten it, but I can function. So he stayed there.
Good for him.
And on that note, before I waste any more of our between session time, I'm going to, since my headphones with microphone isn't reliable, I'll just exit the voice chat temporarily while I go upstairs for a minute. And when I come back, we will continue.
All right.
I'll be right back as well.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I suppose I can just mute myself if I'm not taking the chat with me. That probably seems smarter.
Yeah. All right.
I'll be back in like 10 minutes.
Very cool. All right. Everything's coming together. Looks like they're going to take their time marching away in shame. The March of Fame. The March of Shame. We got ants. Do you want ants? That's how you get ants. Oh, we got some soldiers ready. All right, we'll make some more baby ants. We can always upgrade them later if we need to. No harm, no foul. They'll be multi-purpose. Yeah, we got a lot of training speed ups, so it should be easy. Very nice. Two birds with one stone. Swainstone. Very nice. In the world? I don't think we have to worry about those guys. Some rando is attacking us from an hour away. 2 hours? How far does the map go, bro? That can't be less than an hour. Boy, he's just scouting me. Oh, well, we can stop that. Where's the anti-scouting? Can I anti-scout this thing? Oh, can I reinforce myself? Ah, damn it, it's lame. Rally, withdraw army details. 145,000. Activate joint garrison. I don't even know if that's worth it. I don't really understand that part. Reinforcements. In the dirt. Are you with me? Cricket, cricket. I eat crickets. I really do. The good stuff. I hope they do what they're supposed to. Oh, I know Big Pick will. That's nicely. Okay, so they tried to scout me. Does that work if I'm in here? Okay, she's giving some T3s. At least she'll get some points from it. And, you know, the more numbers can't hurt. And we got a lot of guys in there too. Okay, cool. Okay, so if we lose enough baby ants and fill up the healing pool, we can use the secondary pool to heal for free. And that is pretty sweet. I did not know that was a thing until way too late. At least I have plenty of food. Okay, tier 1, go. Boom. And plenty of that. Oh, I need to lock it. There we go. Yes, yes. Tier 1, go. And these guys, tier 1s. I can almost make 1,000 at a time. Yep, and go. And speed up. 60 a minute. I have 400 hours of training speeds. Wow, and I only need 2 for each of these. Or training speed ups. Damn, damn, this event is nice. Very worth it. 400 hours. I just can make up everything with that. That's wild. And I can also get better in this event too. Okay, I'm almost to where I can make more of these guys. Oh, not the research lab. I need to get this done too. Oh, it's gonna be a problem. I probably shouldn't have done this yet. It's too late. What else do I have? Okay, don't use that yet. Army capacity? I don't need that. Army attack, I'll use that when I need to. And defense, I have a couple hundred to spend on that. Okay, we are definitely committed now. Oh good, the army training's almost done too. Army training speed up. Excellent. Every little bit helps. Okay, what's the healing pool looking like? 3,000. Okay, so no more healing until that happens. I wish I could undowngrade it. Mistakes were made. Because I need to use this one, which makes it free, apparently. Oh, so I could have double. I have double the capacity. That's wild. I wish I would have known that. They did not explain that. Like, a caution would have been nice. Like, hey, stop healing your guys. You should use this other one. Wait till it's full. Okay, definitely recall before you get mugged. Just gotta find one more. Easy boy. Ooh, that's gonna be a tough one. Probably won't make it. Wait, what was I doing? No, don't edit. There. I still don't have enough, but it might be worth it. I still got, so, see, 30, 60. That should help. 60,000 melee. That's pretty strong. Okay, good. They are not going well either. Reynald's visions. Oh man, they're so cool. Okay, we're done here. What was that? It like was really fast. Anti-scout. Oh, they scouted my nest? Oof. I guess we'll have to talk about that. Those are from our server. We're not supposed to fight each other. Ruh-roh. Oh, they're coming. It was anti. He's gonna. Oh, Hot's gonna try it too. I promise. We're squishy. You don't take my word for it. Now they're gonna be like, is she joking? Oh, they will never know. We're pretty squishy. But it'll be worth it, right? If I get to the bottom of this points thing. That's a lot of resources. And the gems would be nice. And see, we might be able to kill some more. Oop, you're welcome to send some T1 boys. Suicide missions. If you need deaths. I need kills for sure. Hehe. I like how you can switch between while you're here too. What's this? Take the root. Any root is okay. 213. Take the root. 213. It's us. What are they trying to tell us? Take the root. What you mean? We are. I mean, we would if we could. Do they mean another one? We have all of them. Oh, maybe they mean the other one. FML. Oh, they took this one. Okay, so they're gonna distract V&E while we take this. And V&E keeps the stump. That's all that matters. I just want my time in so I can get those nice rewards. It's quiet now. PR, yes. Teleport over and join us, or you can send your ants. You should have time to join us if nothing changes. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello,
bae.
hello.
Good night.
Welcome back.
Woohoo. T1's
Speaking of back, is everyone here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I believe so.
yes.
Is Shadow also here? Excuse me.
May have been typing on his phone.
I can tell you if he is wherever his microphone is, it's muted.
Yeah.
We lost him.
Once I get confirmation of Shadow's return, we'll start back up.
He just got back.
Lovely. Are you back enough to at least hear me? You don't need to talk right now necessarily, but can you hear?
Oh, me? Hi.
Excellent. For those of you who have been with us for the entire session, welcome back. For those of you watching through my episodic version on YouTube, welcome to the next episode. Picking up where we left off, you all just met another famous face, AMAYAAAAA, head of the Church of Fandari. Certainly, well, basically, no. Essentially, we don't really use the term in D&D, at least especially not in my world. But for lack of a better term, the Pope of the Church of Fandari has just walked in, and she says, I think I can help you with your problem. I wasn't aware that the situation had gotten that out of hand. I thought it was already being handled, but now that I realize it has not, I am made myself available to step in. I will see to that being taken care of shortly.
We're saved.
I do have a favor to ask of you, though. Not in return. I'll handle that. I'm here to help people. I would still like you to go visit the other sage. Reason to believe one or more of you may find something interesting there.
I heard he's got true grit. Sorry.
You're a strange one, not Reyna.
I've been getting it a lot lately. Oh, I love that
Maybe
movie.
all the fire you've been putting everywhere is taking all the oxygen from your brain.
I've heard that is a symptom.
Actually, I need to check my intelligence. Am I even smart enough to say? Is +2 to enough
Are
to
you
understand basic biology and chemistry?
Is a 14 intelligence? Yes, you're significantly above average.
You believe
That
it.
is above average. Yeah.
All right.
He's got true
In
grit.
that case, I can make that. In that case, I can insult Charlene like that.
I'll take it. I mean, you're probably right.
Yes,
Fire sickness.
I've encountered the sage that the others were suggesting you may need to go to before, and I feel like it would, if nothing else, it'd be a good bonding experience. I know when you're still a pretty new adventuring party, getting to know each other and how each other work can be useful.
Don't say.
Well, you wouldn't want to do us the kind gesture and just sending us there than having us travel.
I don't have a way to send you there exactly. I have a way to send you long distances, but it's not quite what you're looking for.
Well, can't blame me for asking.
Will it be fun?
Now, I don't know. Depends what you make of it, I suppose.
As long as it doesn't explode. I'm down.
That's strange coming from you, from what I've heard. To answer your question...
I don't want to be in the explosion.
To answer your question, Tiefling fella, if you ever need to travel long distances to a different plane of existence, I can do that for you. I don't have teleport.
Weirdly enough, I may take you up on that offer one day.
It's not as weird as you think. You wouldn't be the first.
Fair enough.
In the meantime, I will make arrangements to get myself back to the village as quickly as possible. I do potentially have something that could get you there a bit faster. And she reaches into like a pocket of her robes and hands you all boarding passes for a very specific airship.
Reynold's just gonna mutter to himself,
Mm.
"Here we go again."
Yeah, this went well last time.
Mhm.
It doesn't hurt to go and try again.
The name of the airship does anyone here speak Celestial?
Maybe one day.
The one time I don't take Celestial.
That's one of the things I was gonna pick, but nope.
Reynold, I assume you believe you told me you don't.
No, I don't. Sorry,
Steve,
Will.
you are
Steve does
muted.
not.
Okay.
Steve has common and Elvis.
Robo, the player, must have given me some of her sleepiness because even I'm not thinking straight.
It happens.
It's funny that I don't speak Celestial when my patron is a Celestial.
Yeah, I mean, you probably picked up a few words, phrases.
You can tell what I will say for you, since you are a Celestial Warlock. You can tell it is Celestial. You've seen it written enough, but you can't read what it says.
So close.
And she says, go to the docks in about an hour, and your ride will arrive. It'll be very clear that it's your ride.
Okay.
Well, great.
I hope that's a
Lucky
good
for
thing.
us.
And yeah, she heads off to start making preparations to go solve your other problem for you.
Anyone here have
And
anything we need to do for an hour? Great, no. We'll just sit here.
I mean, I can think of some things. Uh-oh, it's the old Reyna. Coming
Yeah,
back.
I know. It's creeping back up.
Nice.
you suddenly see ashes in the shape of an elven woman blow by.
Bow chicka.
No. Yeah, after the hour passes, you head down to the docks, and your ride arrives. And take a look like a this. It is not an airship.
Oh.
Oh.
It's better.
Is it a boat?
Oh.
Oh.
I know it. It's good to have big
That's a
friends in big
very
places.
unique airship.
And
Don't
they just
call it a ship.
massive dragon just looks down at you and goes, "Tickets, please."
I'll
I
hand
show my
my
boarding
ticket.
pass.
This is normal.
All right. Okay, we got Reynold, yeah. Steve, yeah. Xavier, okay. Luke, Charlene. There was a 6th ticket available. Guess that person couldn't make it. That's all right.
I wonder who it was.
Yeah, and you are flown to the top of the mountain. It still takes a day or two. It is still a trek, but it's all in the air, so it's a lot safer. Considering this dragon is about twice the size of the one that attacked your airship, nothing you.
I feel better now.
And as you arrive and there's a plateau area where the lands, introduces the dragon, says his name's Caladrin. And
That's a nice name.
says the person that you are looking for is about a mile that way. I would have landed you closer, but it's wide enough to walk, but it's a little narrow for me. So you walk, and you eventually find a small stone house. As you're walking away from the dragon, it goes, "Aren't you the idiot that jumped off the airship?"
Yeah. Nothing to worry about now.
Too soon.
You have to
No.
cover your face now. You have to hide behind a mask.
No, he does not
No one
say
knows
that.
who you are.
That was for those who may or may not be able to see I have the chat up, but it does seem to cut off for some reason in my little window. That was purely a pick on Luca / preceded moment. He did not, in fact, say that. But yeah, you arrive at a small sort of stone and wood, sort of half and half house. And emblazoned on the door is a big metal like door knocker, really emblazoned, but on the door. Seems to be in the shape of could be a devil or demon. You figure it's probably a tiefling head.
Oh.
Doesn't look quite devilish or demonic enough to be one of those.
We are dealing with a sage. It doesn't look suspicious at all, does it? Like nothing's gonna spark out at us if we were to knock it?
It looks purely decorative.
Okay, cool. I'm knocking it.
Oh, great.
You just hear from inside. Huh? Who's coming to see me this ungodly hour? By the way, it's like 1 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah, good enough.
Come on, man. It's only 1 afternoon.
For those who are bad with their AM PMs, that's
Get your
1 in the
fix from us.
afternoon. Does someone wish to answer?
I'm just gonna say, people in need. Do you have some time?
Yeah, give me a second. I get pants.
Pants are important.
Takes probably 5 or so minutes. You hear some clanging and sounds like somebody with a hangover and possibly still a little tipsy trying to function with no like coffee or hangover cure. Eventually the door opens. You don't see anyone immediately. But you do hear a voice from inside go, after a few seconds, you coming in or not? Because I'm perfectly happy to go back to sleep.
Reynold marches in formally.
Yeah, I suppose I'll join him.
Definitely.
Yeah, so you head inside. Still don't directly see him.
May I roll perception?
Sure.
I was waiting for the you can try.
Yeah, that'd be a good timing.
You can try.
You can always try.
Yeah.
You can try and you can always try is Paul's way of saying Oh, sure, I'll have something funny to say about it, regardless of what you roll, but it's not like it matters right now.
Yeah, it's like if you need
Perceive
a
the dwarf from
ride.
earlier has snuck up on you.
It's like if you get drunk somewhere and you need a ride, I'll pick you up for safety reasons, but I'll still make fun of you. As long as you don't drive drunk, you're good.
Let me do this. Yeah, okay.
It's like-
What was your
I'll let-
roll? I have a different window open.
14. But it's just like, yeah, I'll let you use your ability to see, and I'll make fun of you for it. But if you get like a 20 or something, I'll make a meta joke.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll love it.
Yeah, you don't see anything in it immediately. Figure they're probably either invisible or just or tucked away somewhere. But you do hear their voice. It's a male. You do hear his voice again. He goes, "What did you say you wanted?"
We hear you are a great sage.
Oh, that. Yeah. Well, what can I do for you?
There is a village that has some sort of mystic complication going on. Livestock dying, farms dying, things dying, you get it.
The priest told me she was handling that. What do you want?
She told us to come.
What'd you say, proceed?
She told us to come find you.
Well, yeah, besides that, she told us to come find you.
Did she give any indication as to why? If she's already handling the thing, I don't know what you need me for.
Said one of us might know you, or something of the such.
And it's almost like even though for at this point, you're pretty sure they're invisible. You can almost hear the wheels in their head turning, and they're eyeing you all, and they're just like, "Wait a minute." Are you the fuckers that beat me up last night?
Not that I remember.
He says
I hate
it.
to.
Feel like
Yeah,
I
we
would
just
remember
got
that
here.
one.
We were on a dragon last night, so
Oh, was it the big dummy down the road?
Who?
I'm not sure.
Big goof. He's parked like a mile from my house.
Jeez, I got 2
I
hours.
think.
He seemed pretty chill.
Probably.
All right, well that explains the dragon intrusion at least.
Hmm.
Um,
Can I ask where are you?
Yeah.
Zerfio kind of like poking around.
you see, it's like a one-room house. He's like, I'm sitting on the bed in the corner.
I imagine we don't see him there.
Not at the moment. Does sound like that's where the voice. Does sound like that's where the voice is coming from.
Do wizards cast spells and don't realize they till somebody points it out?
Why do you all look weird?
Excuse me?
Do we?
Excuse me?
You're looking at me funny.
Yeah, because you weren't there.
We can't really see you, Colin.
Oh, right. I couldn't find pants. And I didn't want to meet somebody with my dick hanging out.
Good judgment.
No, I don't blame you.
Fail.
She said it. Priest said it. She thought I would I would recognize somebody here.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Huh. Oh, she's not wrong.
Do
Please,
go
care
on.
to elaborate?
Oh, are you on more than that? Okay. Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I know who two of you are.
Which two?
Which two?
Yeah, who's that?
Do
Well, the weirdo doesn't show his face.
okay.
He's
Why not?
he killed me once.
Oh,
Oh, well, I hope you had it coming.
Reynolds kind of. Can I roll history on that to see if I can recall that, or is that another locked memory?
You can roll history with advantage.
Oh, I know who this is. Oh, okay.
I have an idea.
That's interesting.
You
love-
do remember.
Ooh.
You do remember, like I said before, that you've dealt with very few tieflings, and at least one of them you have killed.
Oh,
At least
If
one.
it's who I think it is.
yeah.
I
made some correlation in my brain.
Um,
Like, was the vision I saw last night who I might be talking to?
are you trying to like think that over, or are you asking?
Think that over.
Uh, Possible.
Going in the back of my mind to think about.
Do me a favor. You said it's in the back of your mind?
Oh
Wherever
boy.
Reynold keeps the notebook in his brain.
Do me a favor. And make me a wisdom saving throw.
Ah, nice. I love those. Dirty 20.
You can feel someone's trying to probe into your mind.
Yeah. I'm just gonna kind of like just say, nice try. Just kind of mutter it to myself because you say that like I would have noticed.
Oh no, you are very aware. As a matter of fact, if I read the spell right, either way, yeah, you know that it was the invisible person.
Yeah.
Also, they're no longer invisible because they were using base level invisibility.
They have a blanket on, right? Something to cover.
They actually have clothes on. They were
Okay.
kidding. And they look like that, more or less.
Oh, a friendly sort.
I see.
And looking at the shape of the body and whatnot compared to sort of the shadow, and also the matching eye color to the like holographic kind of imagery you made out last night, you're pretty sure this was the same person who scryed on you.
Nice.
I'm gonna kind of point at him and say, "You were watching me."
Were you into it?
You were one of the people I watched last night, yeah, for a little while.
I'm just gonna Charlene, did you say that in character?
Yeah.
I'm immediately just turning my head towards you like, cat. Just in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to cut the head off of this cat.
What? It's a thing. Or so I've heard. He's rather easy on the eyes.
I can imagine. I'm assuming the other person they know is me. Can I imagine I recognize them, or is
They seem familiar. but you're not 100% sure why. It's fuzzy.
Okay.
Actually, no. Sorry, from our pre-game discussion, I lied. This person, you are 100% aware who they are.
Gotcha.
And it is jarring, to say the least.
I'm gonna follow up with my thing with. So, you say I killed you.
Yeah.
Would you mind saying when?
About 25 years ago.
All the water
Is
under the
Arvira
bridge.
gonna really try to not just like snap and like try to kill Reynald? He's real angry right now. He just wants to snap and smack him.
You look grumpy, old timer. What's the matter?
For a second, and Zarvira's like almost tears in his eyes, kind of snaps out of it for a second,
Ooh.
just pure anger. And I don't want to hurt Reynald because I don't want to do player versus player. But God, Zarvir would so hurt the shit out of him. He would. Oh, Zarvir would not be happy.
But yeah, best not to stick a finger in the wound.
You
hmm.
you look upset, Pops.
Oh,
No.
You all right over there?
Gosh. Trying to see if I can get any magic detection here. Zarvir's not going to believe any of this. I don't have anything to detect magic. Well, crap. No.
Not quite the greeting I was hoping for, but all right. I guess I'll take it.
How? That's more what I'm worried of right now.
25 years.
Shut up. Don't want to hear it from you. Don't even think
Ooh.
about it.
Are you Are you really still holding that grudge?
Why? Do you know what happened to me after that?
Yeah,
It's
I do.
miserable.
I was there.
You were?
Yeah, I died. You brought me back to life. They killed me again. I was there.
Well, I mean, after that.
Oh, the whole melty thing? Yeah, that was weird.
After that, the years to come. It was.
I couldn't really track you after that. I'm not sure what
How did you come back?
magic? How does anyone come back?
Who? How?
And he just um what color is the necklace you're wearing?
Oh, it's very fancy. It's like probably really gold with like gems in them in certain sockets. It's a very everything he wears is very fancy. But he still wears it. He's afraid to take the thing off.
Pick a color for the gemstones.
We'll say purple.
Cool. He's wearing a matching one that's blue.
Great. He kind of looks and was like kind of like scans them up and down. You made a deal then? Is that what happened? Got caught up with whatever this bullshit patron is?
Well, mine's a little different than yours, but yeah, kind of.
Ah, jeez. How different?
Well, for one thing, I can still get drunk.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm not missing that much out. I have things to do.
Yeah, me too. I gave up looking for you after about 20 years, and then I moved up here.
Didn't even know to look for you.
Yeah, that would be hard. So why?
In Zarvir, like the real father he is, Zarvir's a shit father. He does care about his child, but he's shit as being a father.
Father?
This, oh yeah, father.
You did call him Pops.
Yeah.
I thought you were just calling him old. I was thinking,
No, this is my son. But Zarvir's just gonna go straight back into work mode and just have you the artifact. Do you know where it is? If you've been gone this long, or I haven't been in contact with you.
Yeah, I've been tracking it for a while.
I've heard there are others as well. If I can get all of them, that it's besides the point. But you know where one might be, at least.
Hmm.
Yep.
Where?
Know where you want to go.
Well, I'd love to find it eventually, even if it's not now. I got time.
It's a long way from here.
God, does Xavier have a map on him? I imagine so. So Xavier would just
Probably.
pull the map out.
Whether or not you would have a global map or not, I suppose more dependent on
Yeah.
what you think the character would carry.
I imagine, considering he's been looking for this thing for so long, he probably has a global map just to see where to mark things and stuff. He just
Sure.
stand it out on the table and say, where? More specifically.
He points at the bottom right corner of the map on the primarily dwarf kingdom to the far southeast.
And you only
Basically
know of one of them?
diagonally across the map.
You only know of one.
Yeah, I heard the rumors that there might be more than one. I think it was just multiple people seeing the same one myself, but if there really is more than one, I found it.
That's good to know, at least. Okay, that's the place to start. I need to go there and... okay. What have you done all this time? Just sat in this shack?
No. Trying to do I was trying to finish your work. I mean, it was more important to you than me, so figured it was worth finishing.
That... Xavier like stumble over his words, and he'd kind of like glare a little bit at Reynold and be, do you know any more about who did all this? Well, started this all?
Oh, are you asking Reynold or me?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how much Tin Can remembers. He seems like he might have gone through some of the same stuff you did. Different variant, but same result.
Still
Um,
not happening.
but the person who has what you're looking for uh, put out basically bribed a mercenary company. They didn't know who they were working for. I don't know what this guy over here's current personality is fully like, but the vibe I'm getting off him currently, if he was normally like that in his past life, I doubt he would have taken this job if he'd known who it was for.
Who was it for?
It's not worth it, Pops.
It'll make me feel a hell of a lot better.
It'll get you killed again, is what it'll do.
Might be worth it.
All right. I was hoping you'd gotten over this by now, but apparently not.
Oops.
Xavier's a very stubborn man. He does not. He holds grudges. He will hold them for as long as he can.
Reynald's doing a puzzle in his head right now, fitting like everything in that he's listening to.
So this goes there, and no, that happened there, and
Oh.
and this happened. But he's trying to.
Yeah.
Before I give you a name, I want you to know exactly what you're dealing with if you choose to go this route, Pops.
All right.
You are dealing with an evil you can't fathom. Everything you think you feel about Amnesia Boy over here, yeah. There are probably, if the rumors are even half true, possibly whole worlds that whatever's left of them feel that way about this thing.
Thing.
I mean, I guess it's technically a person.
Does it have
I
a name?
certainly wouldn't call it that. A monster would be a better word for it. Excuse me.
And then what do you think? That's what the artifacts are for. It's so I can get stronger, and so this can all be laid to rest. So everything can get fixed.
Well, I don't think that artifact's going to do what you think it is, but if you really want to pursue it, it's down in Bargasid, last I checked, if they haven't changed their base of operations.
What is its name?
Kismir.
For the sake of notes, Paul, could I have that typed out or just told to me how to spell that?
Yep.
Kismir.
Thank you.
And before I forget, add to notes. Killed Zarvir's son.
Cool.
Don't know if it has a full name or not. That's what I heard people referring to it as.
This thing is a world destroyer. Some unfathomable force. And it wants what? It wanted us dead or wanted the artifact?
I assume it's an artifact collector, since that ain't the only potent thing I've seen it with, or heard of it having. Heard it's got a pretty fascinating sword, too.
Oh.
Weirdly, it doesn't actually use it as a weapon. Seems to just be a keepsake for it, a trophy.
So it's a trophy hunter.
And a people hunter, yeah.
Oh, yay. You will obviously help me kill this thing, I presume.
If you can find a way to get us both strong enough to put up a fight against it, I'll consider it.
That's all I ask for. I don't care how long it takes. I can't fight this thing now, but I just need more.
All I can tell you from the bit of whispers I was able to get, most people are afraid to even say the damn name.
Spooky.
But those who know and are willing to at least hush talk a little, Yeah, you definitely don't want to fight that thing anytime soon. Apparently, nobody that's gone in has come out, except for one.
Oh,
Well, no one really knows if they survived or not, but the last time it, she, as she calls herself, left long enough for someone to sneak in and try to pillage treasures. Uh, I guess one small group managed to sneak in and out, trying to treasure hunt before they realized what it was, and it was more of a treasure hunter slash search party, and they were told who to look for, and there was one body missing when they found them.
mm,
Oof.
well, lucky
But
for them, I
other
suppose.
other than them, no one. Let's put it this way: no one who's ever met it, her, whatever you want to call them, uh, close up has ever made it out that we know of.
I can change that. Give me
You
time.
can you can certainly try.
I need more power.
Well, you're not gonna get that standing here talking to me, old timer.
Good point.
You're also not gonna get it by holding a grudge against Tin Man when you're clearly currently allies and he has no idea who the hell you are.
Hmm.
Different lives, I suppose. Doesn't mean I won't think of him as. Hmm, don't know if I'd call him a friend, but he can keep breathing.
Am I supposed to thank you for
Shut up.
giving me such a...
Just zip. Don't want to hear it from you.
That's good enough for me.
Once a cranky old man, always a cranky old man.
I don't understand how you've gotten even over any of this. Uh,
25
I
years is a
I can explain
long
to
time.
Reynold later. 25 years doesn't feel long enough.
Hmm.
Hopefully, it's long enough for me to be able to kill that thing.
Well, like I said,
Hmm.
you can figure out how to get yourself, me, and this group you got here strong enough. I'll try and go with you.
Thank you.
For now, I got a hangover to sleep off.
Yeah.
And it
You
sounds
have
like you need
have
some me time. So,
do you have ascending stone? Anything like that lying around here?
the priest can get a hold of me.
Good enough. If you know of anything like that artifact, anything with just pure power, I need all of it.
If I happen to come across any hugely powerful magic items, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
And he escorts you out and
Would I be able
later.
to be last in the line out? Because I would like to ask him one more thing without Zarvir,
Yeah,
snapping
Xavier's
at
really
me.
pissed at you. Xavier will
Oops.
probably end up filling you in. Not happily, but he'll fill you in.
Well, as long as one of them fills me in
What,
on, like, what did I do 25 years
what's
ago?
up?
What was our quarrel?
Well, you said you wanted to ask him on your way out.
Mia.
Yeah, there you go.
What's up, Tin Man?
What was the quarrel 25 years ago that caused me to take apparently 2 of your lives?
Oh, we had the thing he keeps asking me about, the magic thing. We had it, and Kismir hired you through from the shadows. Well, you and your at the time mercenary company to retrieve it from us.
Mercenary company?
Yeah,
That's very weird concerning my memories. I can barely even think of. There's only one real event I can really remember. But I'll keep your account in mind.
I'm surprised you don't at least remember the company you worked with. It's on your armor.
I'm gonna take a quick look at my arm, like just look down at my armor quick if there is like a sigil or like a brand or something.
Yeah, it's gotten a bit dented and faded. You assume from at this point with your like reborn sort of past lives, you assume probably the armor had to be repaired at some point that you don't recall. But you can just faintly make out it's not a patch because you're wearing metal armor. It's etched in, etched into the left shoulder. You can still make out the shape. The paint's chipped. The sort of like paint that was used to fill in the design has mostly chipped away. A red wolf.
Hmm.
I'm glad that they've gotten up to only good things in the time of new management.
Well, 25 years ago was
Yeah, I was
before
about to
new
say.
management.
Yeah, I was just
That
thinking that.
was
Yeah,
the peak of him still of nobody even suspecting what he was doing yet.
that was at their worst, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. That all checks out.
Yeah.
So
Reynolds now just triple confused in his mind because this does not even line up close to what he thought he had at least somewhat compared to a life.
You were a mercenary
Oops.
and did not great things to Zarvir. He is not happy.
But
It
he
caused him to
deserved
make a
them.
deal he did not want to make.
It's been 25 years.
And he's still suffering. He's still in pain. It's just every day. Awful.
And
his
I don't
kid,
remember it.
his kid seems chill as fuck, but
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
his
I
kids. Reynolds and his kid are like chill, but like
His kid apparently drunk away all the problems. Zarvir had to live in agony.
Mistakes were made.
he either drank away all his problems or the apparently being more re-alive than you has given him time to appreciate being properly alive. I don't know, something.
Yeah, I don't know what deal he made, but I like that deal better. Can I have that one? That one seems cool. Does he have a different patron or something?
technically Reynolds has
My
given
patron's
him
shit.
3 chances to, appreciate life.
I mean, do you want to
Well,
go
his
back
original, and then both deaths. Anyways,
do you
Xavier's gonna kill me tonight.
do you want to go back and ask him any of these questions?
Maybe.
Me?
Yeah.
I guess like probably as he's popping out the door, Zarvir probably say something like, "You seem to have gone much better than I did. What's how?"
Well, I don't know what the hell talked to you, but the thing that talked to me was pretty all right.
Oh, well, I guess that's the way I'd rather have it then. Don't want you going through all this. At least it's somewhat died down by now. Seem to be a little more in control.
I mean, I can't promise anything, but I can speak to, I guess, management, see if they can find out what the hell you're bound to and try to get you out of it.
That would be amazing, if that's even possible. And also, the name of whatever that thing is also on my hit list.
Well, I'll try and track them both down for you and see what I can find out.
Thank you so much. This is more information than I've gotten in the past 20 or so years. And, well, a lot of
Hey, Paul.
good news.
Oh, sorry. My brain actually just didn't cut you off. Sorry.
Yeah, so you guys head back to the
Imagine-
dragon at that point.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I imagined the great fathers Arvir is, instead of like giving him a hug, he'll like pat him on the back. That's all he gives him.
And he just
Arvir is just a great guy.
sort of chuckles and goes, "Glad to see you haven't gotten any better at being with people."
And just get to the point kind of guy. Don't need to muddle over feelings.
Makes you a great scientist. Doesn't always make you the best dad.
Well, I guess I had to choose.
Yep, you sure did.
High five. Great father time. Nice.
And at that point, you do see not monotonous vibes from him for the first time. And I don't know if you were joking or not, but I'm going to say you actually tried to go for a weird, awkward dad high five. And for the first time, you see not life in the sense of like living or dead, but like emotional life in the kid's face. He looks about as old as you now, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I guess I have an age.
And when you sort of crack your half joke, half awkward dad, it seems to finally trigger a response in him. And he proceeds to swiftly kick you in the balls.
Totally
Oh, they're
fair.
like son. You sound like
Does
It's like-
Xavier doesn't know how to be a
crumple
dad.
to the ground from that, or
Oh, totally.
I mean,
Xavier just drops dead.
reborn while they're not quite alive or dead. They're, for the purposes of feeling pain, very much alive.
Oh, yeah. Xavier definitely falls over.
does Zarvir need me to, carry him after that one?
He wouldn't accept it. He'd rather crawl his way there.
To me,
We're
that
gonna
sounds
be here
like
for a
grab him
while.
by the leg and drag him. He'll live.
Yeah.
Xavier is great with
Just
talking to
don't drop
normal
him off.
people, but gosh, he sucks at being a father. Xavier is so intentionally an awful father.
I mean, in fairness, it is a really weird situation. And when it was just awkward dad and kid moment, he seemed to be willing to let it slide. But then you almost tried to get in your awkwardness too friendly in a way that's unusual, both for the situation and for you not really knowing how to be a dad. And he just kind of snapped and was like, all right, I've dealt with this up to this point, but you're getting on my nerves now and I'm hungover. Get out.
Yeah, that's totally a fair reaction.
With that, the dragon takes you all back to the hotel. Well, to the docks anyway. And when you get back to the inn, the bartender has got a note for you. Couple of them, actually. As I yawn and stretch before we wrap up. The first note is from Amaya, just basically saying, hey, it's been handled. Sorry I didn't step in sooner, but I was under the impression it was already handled. And let me know if there's anything I can do. I can't promise anything because it's hard for me to leave the city, but I will do my best to try and help where I can, at least with some info or any of that kind of thing. And the other note, the other note is specifically addressed to Charlie in unfamiliar handwriting. And it just says, stop copying me.
I wonder who that could be.
Actually, I lied. It says, stop copying me. It's creeping me out.
I wonder who that's from.
Man, you should have made
I
it like a
wonder.
full-on like copyright infringement lawsuit.
And the last thing that actually happens, though, while you're sitting there, while you guys are sitting there reading those notes, and those of you that are on speaking terms are talking to each other, is a person walks in. And this is a person that none of you recognize. The person in question, I will show you all what they look like. For my episode people, I'll probably have to edit this in because doing it, adding and removing things like that in OBS is a pain in the arse. Where's the artwork? Person that you see walking in the door
It's not my microwave.
looks like. Where did my art go? Might have saved it in a different spot than I originally planned. Probably did. It's probably somewhere else. Anyway, I had two people in mind for it, so I'll just use the art for the one that I actually know where the art is. Makes sense. So the person that you see look like this. And as they walk into your path, I haven't posted the picture in the group chat yet on purpose. As they walk into your path, you'll have to wait until next session to tell me what your reaction to seeing them is.
Oh, God.
Because we're cutting it off with the posting of the image.
Which returning character is it this time?
Oh,
Oh,
Hey, it's someone who's supposed to be dead.
again.
Wow, people seem to be doing that a lot these days.
Yeah, imagine
So,
in a high magic world with revivals, if you have enough money and the right people and plan B's in place, most things are possible.
Fair enough.
That's
That having
fail.
been said, for my episode people, peace out. See you next episode. For the stream people, not as big of a deal because I'm still talking on the streams. I just ended my recording session. And yeah, I quite frankly, some of this I had roughly planned earlier tonight. Some of it I didn't. But basically, I just decided, you know what? Fucking nostalgia. Go.
It was a very nostalgia
Yeah.
episode, yeah.
Yeah.
My
80s best
favorite.
nightmare.
The funny thing is, almost none of the nostalgia elements were planned.
Fun.
The only thing that
Nice.
kind of would be in character nostalgic that was planned, which I could tell from the questions and stuff I asked earlier. Shadow messaged me privately and basically seemed like he had an idea where he thought it was going. But that part was intended. Everything else I just pulled out of my ass and was like, they're looking for another sage. I don't want them to go on a 17 fucking session fight to find one. So Amaya will step in and go, I'm really busy, but now that I know the person below me who's supposed to deal with this can't, I'll go take care of it. But I still want you to go up the mountain because that's where the person I want you to find is. So I could have just made you do it that way, but I was like, it's just more entertaining.
That's true.
Just threw nostalgia at the wall, and it all stuck.
I got reactions to everything I wanted reactions to. It works for me.
Excellent.
Now Reynold has, or Xavier has another lifelong enemy.
Mummy's back.
And Reynold has another lifelong question.
Short of it all, we had something you were hired to take it, and you killed us. It was not fun. We did not enjoy it. I had
Hey,
to
I
make a
didn't-
deal to come back.
I didn't even know I was in a mercenary company.
Well, now you do. The more you know.
The more you know.
Exactly. You learned a part about yourself, and I learned that I hate you. It all works out. No, I'm sure. Considering this party's sticking together, that character building will happen, and Xavier will realize, hey, you're not such a bad guy.
Anymore.
Yeah, I only killed your son
And then
twice.
Maybe.
friendship. It's exactly. You only killed me once.
Hey,
We can make that up. It's fine.
maybe something will happen to you that will forcibly change your personality.
True. Yeah, plus
Possession.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe Zarville will just die permanently.
Is it
Then that'll solve it all.
really possession when... Never mind.
Oh, story plot hinting.
Anyway, yeah, I figured I'd just throw a bunch of the nostalgia that wasn't Melphis specific out there tonight. That way, I can eventually throw some at Melphis later.
Nice.
You mean write down so you can pretend that you can throw it at Melphis, knowing that they're probably not gonna.
What do you mean?
Seriously, when
Melphis
was the
joins
last-
every session.
Oh, so, yeah, my
Yeah,
bad.
he's right here.
I forgot.
Melphis was just sleeping.
Sorry, I
It's
didn't see you there.
okay.
Melphis, I
Yeah.
didn't see you there. Sorry about that.
I mean, while it can still be frustrating at times, in Melphis's defense, he said starting during summer months was a bad idea if I expected him to show up.
Okay.
I actually don't remember that.
Yeah, that's Melphis.
He did say that.
To be fair, I bet you Melphis probably during any month between like January and December is probably bad for him. So
Any month overall.
that's what January and December is.
Oh wait,
Yeah, between
Sure.
Damn.
We don't need to talk about that.
Now,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I would have understood Proceeded's follow-up if you had said from December to January.
Yeah, I guess I said it in between, didn't I? Yeah, I
got-
committed a misslip of English.
Oh no, you said it the way you intended to. What I'm saying is I would have understood Proceeded's response if you had said it the other way around, because December to January is a month. But you said January. You said January to December, which covers the whole year.
I wasn't
Oh, yeah,
fully
you're right.
listening.
You were half listening.
Well,
I
yeah.
noticed.
The other reason that I I did have thoughts in mind as I was adding the stuff. I'm like, well, let's see. Who would be sage-like to some extent and be... Because I assumed, we didn't really quite talk about it, but I kind of assumed what Charlene was looking for.
Yeah.
Like, the way we kind of just talked it over was like, oh, I'm looking for someone who shoots fire like me. What I kind of assumed she was actually doing was, like, in her own way, trying to find a sage-like person who just happened to also shoot fire.
Which is always awesome.
Fire Sage.
So basically, I also wanted to show that even the most sort of pure of the old group, because like Amaya sort of stayed pure and even maybe pured up a little bit more just because of her position as much as and beliefs. But for the rest of them, even the most pure didn't like turn evil by any means, but like changed heavily.
Trauma.
Like,
Pretty much.
we made out of character jokes about it and stuff. But genuinely, everyone in that group either themselves or witnessed close friends and family of theirs die.
Oops.
A lot. Like, and the thing is, Robo was one of the ones that either never or very rarely even went down and maybe died like once to a, say, big boss fight or something, but was brought back. I don't think, maybe they don't know, they didn't even ever die.
I don't think Robo ever died.
So the thing
I
about
I
think
don't
that's
think
went
they ever
down.
died, you know. They
so
just
there's
were knocked out.
you know, for say Leonides, who died a lot, and I'm not being funny when I say that, he, whatever some levels of comedic or not to it, genuinely, the guy died 7 times.
Yeah.
It's like a mix
Give
of
or take.
being new to D&D during that campaign, and also Leonides being Leonides.
And it doesn't, I don't even care what caused it. There are comedic elements to some of them. But genuinely, the dude died 7 times.
He even killed himself once.
Oh,
Thanks for that,
yeah.
by the way, Paul.
You're welcome.
And the people around us, you know, mistakes were made.
That's a lot of trauma for him to sort through.
A little bit.
But think about it this way. I'm pretty sure Amaya died at least once.
Yes.
She did.
And and Melphis
with
definitely
Zen.
did with the dragon breath.
I think Amaya died twice.
Yes.
Robo in the last battle and in the beginning.
So, listen to what we just said. The only person in the group who watched everyone die and never died, so they had to literally witness all of this, was Robo.
Yeah.
So instead, so basically, I kind of wanted to give 2 things when I thought that as I was pulling it out of my ass. I did have 2 thoughts. One, I wanted Charlene to have what is now a wildfire druid to look up to.
Oh, wow. Nice.
As a potential mentor. To be like, hey, yeah, it's cool, we can blow stuff up a lot. Maybe don't blow stuff up all the time.
It's a learning process.
That's what a mentor is for.
Yeah.
But the other reason that I switched them to wildfire is, like I said, the changing. And in the idea that I have as I'm throughout after I did the reveal and talking about it now, furthering it, Robo had massive survivor's guilt.
Oh,
Even
man.
though everyone's brought back, it's a magical world. There's still a version of survivor's guilt. And one of the things that Robo, the player, just from their, ADD or whatever they got going on, and being tired because it was a late night session, all the different stuff, and being new to D&D still. One of the things that happened with them a lot was like they either didn't know what their spells did, or some of the ones that they took because they liked the sound of them weren't necessarily always combat heavy spells. They had some healing and they had a couple of attack spells, but a lot of them were stuff, I don't remember what they actually took, but the kind of spells of like invisibility and like utility type stuff. Several of them were, at least, that I can remember. So basically the switch was like, that stuff can be useful, but it didn't help me when I really needed it. Do you know what really helped my friends when they really needed it? Grandpa Wizard's Fireball.
Right? It's in character now. It's like part of the story. And the healing bonuses are also pretty awesome.
I'm getting tired, but before I leave, I do have one piece of good news. In order to help play true to Reynold being Marshall, I'm just gonna start reading random bullshit quotes off the Art of War. So anyways, good luck with that, bye. But no, seriously, I am thinking about maybe for like roleplay. Paul, do you think it would be like a good idea? Not just like a big thing, but more so like maybe look at like martial techniques from like medieval times, just as like an inspiration.
It's possible.
So I was thinking that I did want to emphasize that part of his character a bit, but I should, if I want to do that, I should probably study some of. Is that proceeded?
Okay.
Or?
No,
That is.
it was not me.
No, that was me. That is fucking dumb. Wildfire Druid gets a bunch of fire spells and some healing, because it's like a healing, druids are healing fire as well.
The healing power of fire.
Yep. Like Flame Strike, great spell when you eventually get it. Fire Shield's pretty good. Flaming Sphere, Scorching Ray, Burning Hands, and then of course some healing spells as well. They get Revivify for like as one of their like always have it prepared spells. They don't get Fireball.
Very strange.
Did we get Immolate?
Who needs that?
Well, no, because Immolate I think is like 6th or 7th level, and the free spells only go up to 5th level.
Oh.
Like 5th level magic, so like 9th level characters. They get Revivify and Plant Growth, which Plant Growth isn't a terrible spell, but it's not very wildfiery.
Maybe if like if Plant Growth had the caveat of like, oh yeah, the vines are on fire or something.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the reason I thought to check it is obviously I had him do a fireball in the thing because I just assumed you would get it. But the reason I thought that is fireball is not normally a druid spell, but there are lots of subclasses that fit a certain theme. Like I'm playing a glory paladin in my brother's campaign right now. He's taking a turn DMing our Sunday group, and glory paladins get like, I forget what it is, but there's at least one spell I know is not on their normal list that I think, oh yeah, Guiding Bolt is not a paladin spell. But he gets Guiding Bolt as a free first level spell because he's a glory specifically paladin. That's one of the glory spells. So I assumed Wildfire Druid would get fucking Fireball.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, I'll figure out. I might have to like recreate it as Homebrew, because you can like copy spells and make them Homebrew in your private games on Beyond, in order to like give them to people who shouldn't normally have them and stuff like that. I may have to do that with Fireball and do a Homebrew copy of it, because you're getting Fireball instead of Plant Growth.
Yes. That makes more sense.
It does. It
like,
really
even
does.
though it's arguably probably making you a bit overpowered to do that, I literally assumed you already got it. So
Yeah, what's up with that?
I am very curious, actually, about that now. I'm going to look at your level 7 version of your character. The Hill Dwarf version.
Hmm.
I noticed you used the same name for both.
Oh yeah, then I was learning how to play that the mage type. Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They had a
You
whole
got me to
story
read Circle
together.
of
Like they were
Wildfire, and all I can say is,
together.
what the fuck?
Do you know what the other weird thing is? They don't get Fireball as like an added for that class.
Yeah,
But
it's
you know
very
what else is
strange.
stupid?
They
One
don't.
of the-
Wait, they don't have fire resistance.
Well,
Yeah,
fire
it would just get
resistance,
burned.
it would make sense to an extent, but even that's whatever. Resistances don't always come out. The other thing they don't even have, which could have easily replaced plant growth if they didn't want to do Fireball, on the Druid list, there's a 3rd level spell
Hmm.
called Flame Arrows.
This is true.
Damn.
Oh my.
Like, come on, man.
There's literally, without even doing what I was talking about doing, a spell already in,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it says it's from Elemental Evil, which was sort of a side book, but was released well before the Tasha's subclasses, which Wildfire is, came out. You could have at least given them that.
Right? They didn't think that, did they?
Well, and it would bother me less, except number one, I'm like, Fireball is the fire spell, so what the fuck? But the other reason it weirds me out is like, except for Cure Wounds and Mass Cure Wounds, and I guess Plant Growth by default, but ignoring Plant Growth, it's Revivify, Mass Cure Wounds, and Cure Wounds are sort of the other big sort of spells you get for free, and I think Aura of Life. And like I said, I understand sort of like Phoenix Rising from the Ashes, Druids tend to be known as having the ability to heal, so having like a flaming healing person makes kind of sense to me. I gather that. But what doesn't make any sense to me is they gave a couple healing spells, and all other pretty much Druid available fire spells, including possibly ones that normally Druids don't even get. I'd have to look. Like, I forget if Burning Hands is by default Druid spell or not. But either way, they gave you a bunch of pretty okay fire spells, didn't give you Fireball,
Hey, Robo.
or even the one that was built already into the friggin' class. What the hell? Why would you do that?
Strange. Robo's here. Yay. Yay. You're our hero. Our hero.
Robo.
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 You're Robo?
Wait,
Anyways,
Robo showed up?
I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
See ya.
And
He's in Twitch chat.
Oh, in Twitch.
yeah.
Hi, Robo.
Meowdy. Hell yeah. He's given me these gorgeous pennies from the ads, and I love it.
So Robo just arrived?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So Robo is not aware that Robo appeared.
I
He
told
heard
him
a little birdie.
I told him he was in the session. I didn't tell him what he did yet.
Yeah. Well, he's now a Wildfire Druid.
Hooray.
Yeah, I would file to it now.
So yeah, on that note, everyone have a good night. I'm also going to take off because I'm starting to get tired.
We do love fire.
Yeah, as far as I remember, I got my work schedule for next week. I think I'm working the same shift I did this week, so we should be good for next week as long as people can make it.
All right.
And I'll see you then.
Goodbye.
Excellent.
Bye.
I'll be here. Bye. Thank you for being awesome.